Hello, my name is Abdiel Mata. This video is to complete my assignment on a discussion thread relating to Abraham, Jacob, or Joseph for my Bible 105 class. So I decided to choose Jacob. I feel like my life and his life have a lot of similarities, from deceit to not trusting in God's promises, and a lot of the stuff that happened with him, I felt like I did in my own life and made some decisions like that. So what I'm going to do is go through the courageous faith, ask yourself questions at the end of his chapter, and try to compare how my life and Jacob's life was. Um, Question number one: what things are threatening division in your family? So this is where it gets kind of personal for me. I recently finalized my divorce of a marriage of 18 years, and I feel that that created tremendous division in my family with my kids and just my family in general. And that's kind of reminds me of how Isaac and Rebecca had the division in their family because they had favorites with Esau and Jacob, and the deceitfulness that happened to get the blessing, ultimately to where Jacob had to flee in fear of his life. Question number two: are you part of the solution or part of the problem? So looking back now, I feel like I was part of the problem because I didn't align myself biblically as a man of God, where God should be up front, on top, and then the husband and the wife and the kids. And my thought process in my life, the way it was my kids, then it was the wife, and then it was me, and God was somewhere along the line wherever he fit in. And so, just like Jacob had problems trusting in God's promises and everything that he had for him after he made all these mistakes, I felt the same way, is that I never had fully a grasp on who God was. And so things out of page 34 for the Courageous Faith book, where it says how a husband should love his wife and how a father should be towards his kids, I don't think I met those expectations because as the leader of my home, I wasn't following God how I should have followed him. Question number three: is your relationship with God what it should be right now? So I personally have a bias in saying that as Christians, we're always a work in progress. However, if you tell me if it's different from now, from 3 years ago, absolutely. I would say 180 degrees. However, it's a constant, less of me, more of you kind of thing. Question number four: is your relationship with the house of God, your local church, what it should be right now? So it's a little different for me because I'm military, so I jump from city to city. I do attend my home church, whether it's back home or whether it's where my local residence is at. But I would like to be more involved in the church and actually in the ministry itself. Question number five: take a minute to reflect on the time and place where you first met God. So this is kind of weird for me because I grew up as a Christian, as I started as a Baptist, then converted to or attended a Pentecostal church, and then converted to Catholicism. But I feel like I only really met God recently because I stepped away from the religion piece and focused more on the intimacy and the relationship with God. And so I would say it was really at my lowest point where God picked me up and said, "Hey, are you done fighting? And let me pull you out of that." And it's kind of like where Jacob wrestled with God and finally was blessed. Excuse me. Question number six: what obstacles or difficulties have come into your life since then? I think the biggest obstacle is really not leaning on my own feelings, emotions, my thoughts, and understanding, my own understanding, and trying to trust in God's promises. Pretty much what Jacob struggled his whole life, whenever he was everything from like chasing after Rachel or being afraid of Esau when he went to go meet him. So that's probably what it is. Question number seven: are any of those difficulties still unresolved now? Like, I kind of have to go back to the question answer that I answered before, where I feel like we're always a work in progress. And so it's a daily thing to yield I feel like it's a daily thing for me to yield myself completely to be less of me and more of God. And the last thing is make it real. If you could change the way your life has turned out, what would you do differently? I think honestly, what I would do differently is I would look for that intimacy relationship with God at a younger age, to have really surrendered myself instead of gone through all the life struggles thinking that I had to do it by myself. And so that answered all the questions, and I hope this fulfilled my assignment, and I hope you're blessed. God bless you.